everybody, Miss Ashley here, and tonight I am going to teach you how to make the perfect creamy mushroom pasta using a recipe from this children's cookbook, How to Cook in 10 Easy Lessons. And so I found this recipe on super skill number 6, which is boiling, steaming, and poaching. So here it is, the perfect pasta with creamy mushroom sauce. So to make this recipe, you are going to need some ingredients. And some of these ingredients are, you're going to need some cornstarch, you're going to need some pasta, you're going to need some chicken broth, some, as I call it, shaky cheese, some yogurt or sour cream, some olive oil, and of course, some mushrooms. This also calls for 1 red onion. Now, besides having ingredients, you also have to have the utensils. So this recipe calls for you have to have a colander to drain the pasta, a bowl to mix the sauce, your measuring instruments, and you're also going to need your little measuring spoons. You're also going to need to have a fry pan and a pot for your boiling water to put your pasta in. So I have already put the boiling water on the oven. It's already boiling, so just to speed things up a little bit, but you will have to put water in your pot. Now, the precise measurements are going to be listed in the description below. And don't forget, you can find it right here in this lovely children's book available at the Bracebridge Public Library. So the first step that this says to do is you need to heat some oil into our fry pan, and this calls for 2 tablespoons of olive oil or sunflower oil. I am very close friends with olive oil, so I'm going to use this one. But before I do, I need to prep my red onion. Now, it's also important that you guys wash your hands before you do any cooking. I have already washed my hands, so I know they are clean. So parents also, maybe you don't want to let your children use a sharp knife. This is actually intended for older children, like 10 and up. So, but don't forget to have the little ones help you, but just maybe not with the whole knife thing. So you just chop your onion, little choppy, 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 right here. And it says just give it a dice. So I'm just using this here. Thinly sliced. Hello, you going to help me? You're going to help me cook? Well, this is not a dog show. This is a cooking. It's a cooking show. So now I gotta heat this olive oil in the pan, about 2 tablespoons. I just put a little bit of lug-a-lug. Just gonna put a little lug-a-lug. There we go. And cut our onions up. We have to walk them over to our fry pan that has our olive oil already getting nice and hot. Just toss those puppies in there. Hear the sizzle. Okay, stir these guys around. Okay. So you don't want to have the temperature too high. We just want enough that it will cook. Break them up a little bit. Okay. And then our little book here says we are to cover them for 5 minutes. So once you give it a good stir, coat it with the olive oil. And we gotta cover these suckers. Alright, so take my little handy dandy lid, put it on there, and then I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. So hit my our timer is set for 5 minutes. It is time to take our main ingredient, our mushrooms, and we are to slice these guys. So just take a little knife here and just slice them down. Some people like to wash their mushrooms before they use them. I just give them a slight brush. Because I find if you actually wash them, they absorb the water and they get really, really kind of soggy, and no one likes a soggy mushroom. So then just slice these get them all done. This recipe calls for about 1/2 cup, but I happen to really enjoy mushrooms, so I'm going to use the whole container of mushrooms that I bought at the grocery store. Okay, so this recipe does say to stir the onions occasionally. So a quick way to do that, so just take your pan and give it a little shake there. It's actually more fun to do it this way too, I find, so give it a little bit of a shake. And then I need to add these mushrooms to the pan. So I'm gonna walk them over. Oh, look at that. These things are caramelized. Okay, so just gonna put them in there. Again, you don't have to use all these mushrooms, like I said. I just happen to really enjoy mushrooms. So I figure, why not? More is more. Okay. And then we need to, again, just give these guys a stir, and we're going to leave them here for 5 more minutes so everything gets nice and wilty. Now, fun fact, mushrooms will actually shrink up when they are cooked. So you think you have a whole ton? You're like, whoa, that is way too many mushrooms, but no, it's not. Because as soon as they cook, they shrink. And you're like, where'd my mushrooms go? So, get that, put your lid back on, and then you can reset the timer for another 5 minutes. There we go. So now we are keeping this party train moving because we have a sauce to make. So to make this sauce, you have to take your little mixing bowl here, and you gotta take your little measuring spoons, and it says to put in 1 teaspoon. Now be careful that you get 1 teaspoon and not 1 tablespoon, because believe you me, I have made this mistake before, because fun fact, Miss Ashley cannot bake, and I put in a tablespoon of salt instead of a teaspoon, so you really don't want to make that mistake. So anyway, back to the cooking. 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. So take your cornstarch and just reach in and put in 1 teaspoon. Just like level it off with your finger. Nice and level off, and we're gonna plop that in. Look, it's snowing in the bowl. Okay, we got that. And then it says we need to put in 4 tablespoons. So the big guy, 4 tablespoons of our yogurt. So I'll get my yogurt open. Also, you can use sour cream, but I happen to have a thing for plain Icelandic yogurt. So open this up, and we're gonna put in 4 tablespoons. That's actually kind of hard to get these guys out. You gotta like beat it, make some noise. But that's 2. That's 3, and that's 4. So you really gotta crack that there, and put this, and you're gonna put that in the sink, and maybe your parents will clean it up after you, but no, you shouldn't clean up your own mess. What am I saying? Bad Miss Ashley, bad Miss Ashley. And then we need to stir the cornstarch with the yogurt until everything is nice and mixed together. It's pretty stirred together. And now check the mushrooms. Give them another little shaky like I said. Get them all shaky. And then this recipe says we need to add the chicken stock to our pan of simmering veggies. So it says 1 1/3 cup. So we have 1 1/3 cup. So let's just give this a shake. And we're gonna pour it in here. So 1 cup. And then 1/3 cup. Okay, put the lid back on. And then it's time to, oh, perfect timing. It's time to walk these guys over. Let me just turn this off. Take my lid off. Give it a shake here. And we're gonna pour this chicken stock in. Yay. And then put the lid back on. So get that simmering. And now while this is simmering and doing its little cookie thing, it is time for us to put the pasta into the water. Now I like to put salt in my water before I add pasta, so I'm just going to do that. And then, so to open this, you can take it, you can just go bam, right? And take your pasta and put it right in to your pot. Take your little spoon here and just stir it in, making sure nothing is really connecting, and just let it soak. And then just kind of push it down a little bit. All right, get in there. Then I take my lid. Bam! So now that's cooking. And then we have to just let everything simmer. So follow the recipe instructions from your pasta. Mine says about 8 minutes. So I'm gonna leave this for 8 minutes and then we will be right back. So it's been about 6 minutes now for my pasta. It is just boiling away. And this recipe now says to take our little bowl of cornstarch and yogurt and we're going to add it to our simmering pan of vegetables. So we're going to take this, we're going to open this lid up so it looks a little soupy here, and we're going to just stir this in. Little dog sneeze in the background. And we give it a stir. I'm supposed to turn the heat up now so we can let it simmer for the last 2 minutes. Just give it a stir. Get it all stirred up. Pasta is finished. We're going to take our colander here. We're going to put it in the sink. And then we're going to lift this pasta and put it through the colander so all the water drains out. So maybe parents, you should grab this. It's pretty heavy. I know it's heavy. So take your little colander, your pot, and then just pour it through. All right. Now you let that drain for about a minute or so, and then just let this stir. Turn your element off. Let this stir for about 2 minutes and get nice and simmery. So we'll be back in 2 minutes. Now that we have stirred in our yogurt and our powder into the pan, let it stir for about 2 minutes. We're going to take our nice drained pasta from our colander and we are just going to pour it right in, like that. And then we are going to just mix it all together, turn our element off. Then the pasta just gets absorbed into our sauce. So I'm going to work this around and I'm going to show you the final product. So be right back. Okay guys, so this is the end. This is our pasta here. I'm just going to take my little tongs. I'm going to scoop some out onto a plate for serving. One plate. And then 2 plates. Woo-hoo-hoo. That? Oh, hello. Hello. So I like to take a little bit of olive oil here and just a little bit of the last drizzle on top. That. Now we're recipe did call for some shaky cheese, so we just put some shaky cheese on there. You know, who doesn't like some shaky cheese? And just because I am super fancy, taking a little bit of my crushed basil here, just for, you know, a little touch of green on there. Just sprinkle that on top. Sprinkle, sprinkle. And then just because, I have a little bit of my two best buddies called salt and pepper. Little shake, little shake, little shake. Take your fork. And that is it. That is the recipe for the super creamy mushroom pasta, brought to you by the Super Skills book, How to Cook in 10 Easy Lessons by Wendy Sweetser. I mean, with a name like Sweetser, maybe she should be a baker. Or maybe I will do a baking recipe next. But remember, if this doesn't taste good, it's not my recipe, it's hers. Alright guys, so until I see you again, I'm going to eat my din din, and maybe you will make it for yours. So I will see you later, and remember to stay safe and keep washing your hands. Bye-bye guys.